What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. There are new backup QBs in Pennsylvania. In Pittsburgh, we've got Justin Fields backing up Russell Wilson, and Kenny Pickett is now Jalen Hurts' backup. So we're going to get into the details of those trades, what it really means for these guys in their careers, and just give our general opinions on what we think about it. Before we get into it, Sideline Sports Network, huge shout out as always. TotemPoleNation.com is where you can get some gear like this jacket, like these hats. We've got other hats, t-shirts. We got everything you need on there on sale. So go get it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. What is up, M2K? Let's get into the episode right now.
Well, I am so surprised that the Steelers got Justin Fields regardless. Now, we were saying that earlier, but we didn't know how the trade would happen, and they got the trade. So the Steelers made a smart decision. You barely have to pay two of your quarterbacks anything, right? Because the Broncos got to pay Russell Wilson still $38 million, and then you pay him the veterans minimum, right? So you barely got to pay both of those quarterbacks anything. You traded Deontay Johnson to the Carolina Panthers. Now you have a roster, right? You already have a defense. The defense is not a concern. The concern is how far can y'all advance to the playoffs. Here's why they had to make that move. Mike Tomlin's job is on the hot seat. Despite him having 17 straight winning seasons without losing record, he was on the hot seat. You going 9-8 and 10-7 is not good enough. And then when you get to the playoffs, you couldn't compete. You got blown out by Buffalo, couldn't compete. Years before that, when you made the playoffs, you get blown out by the Chiefs. You can't compete with the Ravens nor the Bengals. Your division is getting tougher, right? Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson when healthy. Did you see what the Cleveland Browns did with 4 quarterbacks? They still made the playoffs. 5 quarterbacks, including Joe Flacco. They still made the playoffs. So the AFC North is getting tougher. Now, Kenny Pickett wasn't all that good. M2K, I know you're so happy with the Steelers and whatnot. I know you're so happy, but I'm going to be real with you. The Steelers, y'all signing Russell Wilson, you shouldn't be really happy about that, okay? Y'all on y'all last leg of quarterbacks. Maybe if y'all sign Kirk Cousins is a better signing than Russell Wilson. I'll be real with that, but I'll debate on that later on. When it comes to the Steelers, they're playing in a tough division. The AFC North is the most toughest divisions in all of football. Kenny Pickett was not that good, right? Marcus Mariota is gone from Philadelphia, right? So you're back up to Jalen Hurts. What does that tell you? Is Jalen Hurts really that good? Now, I'm not saying Kenny Pickett's going to overtake Jalen Hurts and be some star. But, man, with the RPO system that Nick Sirianni runs, maybe that system fits him a lot better. I mean, we'll see how this happens. Justin Fields can learn a lot from Russell Wilson. He can learn a lot from Mike Tomlin. So you'll get into the details of these trades in a second, but I think both of these trades were great. What team will be better off this? I mean, the Eagles are already good, even though they slouched off the last couple games and got blown in the playoff. The Steelers are the ones that needed help. So you have a great quarterback room. Like I said, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. 2-3 years ago, you went Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Josh Dobbs. That's not a great quarterback room, but now you have an efficient quarterback room. I wouldn't be surprised if you get another quarterback maybe later in the draft or just have a third quarterback just in case for injury-related reasons because Russell Wilson does get hurt. He has gotten hurt before as long as finger injuries. He broke his hand, I think, the last year, the year before he left the Seahawks. I like this, but I hate the Steelers. I'm not surprised that they made this move, but they have to get a quarterback. Mike Tomlin's job is on the line. The front office says you need to do more in the playoffs. You cannot just get there and get spanked, right? So I like it. I don't like neither teams, but new quarterback rooms for both of them, except Jalen Hurts is already the guy, but we'll see if Kenny Pickett can push him.
Yeah, so I think pretty obviously, like Kenny's chances of playing on the Steelers or on the Eagles is like significantly worse on the Eagles. You almost need you need an injury for him to even be considered to play. They've got $250 million invested into Jalen Hurts. Kenny Pickett on his, what's his cap hit? $1.9 million cap hit. He's not going to get any favorable looks unless Jalen Hurts gets injured, which we obviously hope nobody gets injured. M2K, to respond to what you were saying, what do you mean? He means that if the biggest reason that you're excited about a new quarterback coming in is the quarterback's cheap, probably not the best situation for your quarterback room. Now, obviously, he's undoubtedly an upgrade from what you were working with before in Pittsburgh. And bringing in Justin Fields as the backup is nice, for sure. But here's the decision they have to make. He has a $3 million cap hit this year, right? But if they see enough in him not playing, which is going to be tough because you can't see his full potential on a practice field. Now, obviously, they have tape they can go back to. They know he's a 1,000-yard rusher. Like, that's not something to debate. But they have to make the option of picking up his fifth-year option after this season. And the way that fifth-year options work is it goes off of the franchise tag value. So they'd be paying him about $25 million next year. And that's probably going to go up with, how the quarterback contracts are going to work out this offseason. That number is probably going to go up to like 26, 27 that they're going to have to pay him next year if they see enough to keep him around. Now, obviously, they could pick that up and then do some extension to where they're paying him like 25 a year. But who knows? I don't know if they're just going to sign that money away without even seeing him on the field, right? It's a different situation from Kenny because, Kenny is not going to play, but he's also locked in at like $1.5 million cap hit. He's not hurting the team long-term money-wise. And I'm not saying that Justin would be hurting the Steelers money-wise long-term, but it's just you have to make that decision pretty quickly, and you're not going to be able to see him on the field unless something happens to Russ or if he just beats Russ out in camp or in practice or something. I just think it's good for the next 2 years for the Steelers for sure, but that quarterback room that's so cheap right now with a 1.2 and then a 3.3, 1.2 million in what they're paying Russ, and then 3.3 is what they're paying Justin. It's cheap this year, but next year you're in that same position with Justin, making the decision if you pay him or not. And if Russ goes out there and plays well this year, do you just ship him out of town after that? Like if he goes out there and puts out another season of 27 touchdowns to 8 picks and throws like 4,000 yards, you haven't seen that in Pittsburgh in 4 years. Are we sure that they're just going to let him walk after that?
So that's a tough one. That's a tough one for a lot of reasons. That's very a tough one. One, that depends. I know reports said that Russell Wilson's going to be the starter, but what if they compete and let's say Justin Fields beats them? Shockingly, right? Reports could say one thing, but Mike Tomlin's probably going to get tired of addressing the quarterback room, even though you could sign somebody to start them, which he'll probably start Russell Wilson just because the Denver Broncos are going to pay him $38 million. So nobody's going to pay somebody $38 million to sit on the bench from another team. I understand that point, but how long are we talking though? Because I know he's still got 4-some years with Denver and blah 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 blah, and with all that money Denver has to give him. I don't know. That's the question. That's probably the most great question you ever gave me. I don't know what they're gonna do with the guy, right? Especially with Justin Fields. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see how this actually plays out in the future. But I'll say at the end of the day, both of those guys are going to battle it out. Whoever wins is whoever wins, even though I still think Russell Wilson's still going to be the starter as far as how stuff goes. But I don't know.
Yeah.
What the question is, what type of Russell Wilson are we gonna get? What type of Russell Wilson are we gonna get? Are we gonna get the Russell Wilson that early in the career that took it to 2 straight Super Bowls, won one, lost one? The question is, what type of Russell Wilson are we gonna get? And he has the receiver, so he has no excuse to be shitty. And I know the offensive line with Seattle was an issue. Before he left, he expressed that. The Denver offensive line was completely garbage. But the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line is garbage as well, but it's a little bit better. The Pittsburgh Steelers will upgrade the offensive line. It should not be a problem. And you got Najee Harris in the backfield. You still got George Pickens, right? You shouldn't have any problems or any excuses why you should be so bad. That's all I have to say when it comes to Russell Wilson. If Justin Fields could operate that system, especially with the RPOs, and I know Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator, what is Arthur Smith going to get him? Because Russell Wilson likes to throw side to side. Arthur Smith likes to run plays and throw it deep down the middle like he did with Ryan Tannehill. So both of those offensive coordinators are going to have to be on the same page.
Yeah. So first, what's up, Oreo? Thanks for watching. I think with Pittsburgh, like with Russ, we've only seen 1 year of him actually be like dog shit, right? Like everyone saw it clear as day. That's not a debate. Last year, I think where the eyeball test probably doesn't tell you that he's still an elite guy, and I don't think that he is still an elite guy, like you mentioned, taking Seattle to Super Bowls. He's definitely lost some of that. But just imagine if the quarterback room for Pittsburgh this year added another 13 touchdown passes. Like they're winning probably 12 games. They won 10 with dog shit at quarterback, no production at all, no scoring. And I'm not saying Russ coming in makes them a super high scoring offense, but I don't even think it's close. It's going to be more scoring than last year's was. Obviously going off of who is Russ going to be, but we've only seen 1 year of real bad play. Last year, he still had 26 touchdowns. The year before he left Seattle, he had like 29. And then the year before that, he had 40. So I'm not saying we're rewinding the clock 4 years, but I'm saying he's going to add probably 12 to 13 touchdowns to this offense through the air. And I've said it in the past that I didn't think that he would elevate them to more than 10 wins. But seeing what their defense carried them to this year, even through a short TJ Watt injury, and then Mike Killebrew, I hate to tell you in 2K, 30-year-old safety that most of the general public doesn't know who he is. It's a good depth piece to add, but y'all have 2 starting safeties that are going to be good. So I'm not really worried about that. It's good depth to have because y'all's defense does get hurt. We all know it. But I don't know if that's really moving the needle on how good Pittsburgh is going to be. But yeah, I see him as like an 11-win team next year if Russ goes out and just plays average. Long term. And here's the thing, like what you said, the Broncos are on the hook for paying that money, right? The Steelers are not. So when it comes to who the Steelers are going to start, they have they have less money invested in Russ than they now do in Justin. Like they're on the hook for paying 1.2 to him. So if Justin does beat him out, then number one, no trade value. He's done. Most likely going to retire if Justin beats him out for the starter spot. And guess who still has to pay him that guaranteed money? Denver. Seattle doesn't. Yeah, Seattle doesn't give 2 shits about money when it comes to Russ. Kylie, what's up? And then, sorry, hold on. I'm getting lost in the comments. And then, damn, I just lost my whole train of thought. Trying to be nice. No, I'm just kidding. We appreciate the comments. Oh, and then Justin Fields, his side of things is like the trade that the Steelers made with the Bears is if the Steelers play Justin Fields for 51% of the snaps, then that pick gets up to a 4th. But we don't know. What we're expecting is that Russ starts. Justin's not going to play more than half the snaps. and it's going to be a 6th-round value as the pick. So if he doesn't get the start, is there any market for him? Because we just saw there really wasn't. We saw a 6th-round pick be the successful move to get him. So then, like, the Steelers are kind of just in an area of mediocrity in quarterback world a little bit. Now, we don't know if Justin's going to be mediocre long term, but it's just, I don't know. It's not looking as bright as I think the lights showed or were shown when that trade was first made. It's like, oh, the Steelers are preparing for the future. It's like, well, kinda. Like, I mean, I guess, but are they going to put in $26 million to Justin Fields next year? I don't know. If they're going to try to move him, are they going to get anything more than a 6th-round pick for him? We just saw probably not, So it's a positive step for sure, but long-term implications I don't think have to be like all positive.
It's going to be tough. We'll see. Both of these teams are still trash. But if you like, comment, subscribe to Total Pole Nation. We both don't like the Steelers and the Eagles because they're so toxic.
I hate the Eagles. I'll say that. I'll say that with my whole chest. I hate the Eagles more than any other team in the NFL. And hey, you know what is so great about this totem pole jacket? It's just that perfect Dallas Cowboys blue, baby. It's just that perfect Cowboys blue. I can throw some game day fits together with this one, man.
Oh, Lord. Well, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to Total Pole Nation. I want to thank Sauce for them for the platform. We'll see how these two quarterbacks, the Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, we'll see how their futures pan out. We will catch y'all later. Adios. You have a great night.